people, what do you want in our compound?
On Friday night, just before midnight, Robert Kyagulanyi's home was stormed by armed men said to be from the army, leaving behind shattered furniture.
What do you want in our compound?
Phones captured what words struggle to explain. A day later, from her hospital bed in Zambia, Kyagulanyi's wife Babby Itungo narrated her ordeal. She told the media that the people inside the home were brutally assaulted. For herself, she described acts she termed dehumanizing, including being forcibly undressed in a room full of more than 10 men.
When I sat down, they lifted me again. Now, this time by these, because I play to these when I'm going to sleep. That same man held me by my hair, lifted me up. We have poles in the sitting room, and hit my head on the pole and slit my mouth. So when he hit me, he pulled me down and sat me down. Then he pushed my head and I went down, and they sat on me. I could feel 4 bodies seated on me. Then he said, "Will you give me the password?" I said again in Unyankore, "You have already done enough. You are not getting the password."
If intimidation had a script, critics say this one tore through every red line. Veteran women's rights activist and political commentator Miriam Matembe says she is disturbed not just by the raid, but by what it symbolizes. She questioned how a national army could descend to humiliate a woman, all in the name of politically pursuing an opponent.
When I saw what happened to Barbie Kyagulanyi, stripping this woman naked in her home, invading if the man has gone and has escaped, and the wife is in the home, and they've been telling us that they are protecting the president. They've been surrounding that home. That woman could not get out to buy food. People could not take her what to eat. She has been suffering enough. As if that was not enough, the people who have been protecting the presidential candidate are now dehumanizing his woman. Tormented, traumatized.
To her, Babby Kyagulanyi's experience is not an exception. Only recently, Muwanga Chivumbi was arrested in a similarly violent raid after a reported incident involving the firing of bullets in his compound that allegedly left 7 people dead. 2 deputy presidents of the National Unity Platform are reportedly unaccounted for. Across the country, NUP supporters are said to have been arrested, others allegedly killed. Exact figures remain contested, but controversially intensified when the Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, took to his X account, boasting of over 2,000 arrests and 22 killings linked to NUP supporters. For Matembe, history is watching and recoiling. She says these actions mirror the darkest chapters of Uganda's past, so much so that the Obote and Amin eras now appear, in her words, almost angelic.
And he's now 40 years in leadership of this country, and the same things that happened in Obote's time, Amin's time, are happening right now. I do not know why as himself cannot even have a sense of shame and even be able to shut down the mouth of his son, who is revealing all these things. At least during Amin's time, you know, we would look for people, they are not there. But now his son is saying, yes, I have captured them. 2,000 people. 2,000 people for what? And who are they? Don't they have parents? Don't they have spouses? Don't they have their children? Who are these people? Where are they? And they are all opposition. And I know that the vice presidents of Kyagulanyi are all nowhere. Zedrigi and the other girl, I think, in the western region, and now Manje Chivumbi, and all the things that are happening. And now, eventually, yesterday, when I listened to what happened to Babby Kyagulanyi, now I said, but look, these people threatened us before the elections. Because I remember at Kororo President Museveni, after, you know, when he was saying goodbye, closing his campaign, I saw him saying, "We shall crush you." He said it, I saw him saying it, "We shall crush you." And from that time, his son has been crushing people. And for him, he's shameless. He announces, we have so far killed 22, the 23rd will be Kyagulanyi. Now, do they tell us, hasn't he been following Kyagulanyi? Hasn't he been running after him?
The Uganda Law Society, an institution that is one of the custodians of justice and the rule of law, says it is watching in disbelief. To them, recent events suggest that justice is not only under attack, it is being ceremonially buried.
The Constitution has laid out clear, rights that should be respected: privacy, dignity, personal liberty. First of all, someone is under house arrest. If the police feel at any point there is any cause to believe that there is a reason, the police brother has a right to come and search your property, but there are laid down procedures in the Police Act on how this search can be done. First of all, they must have a search warrant. If they have reason to believe there's something they need to search in the property, when you're conducting a search, there are laid down procedures. The person in that premise must be notified. You present your search warrant or your warrant card. As you're conducting a search, the person is present, or even a local leader. And the law is also very clear that the person doing that should make sure they do not cause any damage to property or the premises they find. Now, we are seeing a situation where people break in past midnight, past 11 p.m., I guess. They are seemingly, because they are dressed in, the known attire of security. And there's also police at the gate. Unfortunately, we've not seen any official communication from police, Uganda police, as to why this happened. But under normal circumstances, what was done is a law breaking. They have broken the law. It's an abuse of state power. It is actually, these are crimes against humanity.
Ironically, the Law Society was the last organization to visit Babby Kyagulanyi just hours before the raid on her home. Now, following the incident, the body says it is preparing to pursue legal action against the state.
We've finally decided to launch an investigation into getting forensic evidence so that the people can easily be identified to have been part of that raid, or their commanders or their superiors can be taken on both criminally and in civil courts to seek remedies, because they must serve as an example. There must be some kind of accountability.
But for Miriam Matembe, courts alone may not be enough. She believes the actions of the country's long-serving leader and what he calls his political heir against the opposition have crossed from politics into a moral crisis. And at this point, she says, only divine redemption may work.
No, President Museveni, you need God. I want to declare that the Holy Spirit, I want to call upon the Holy Spirit, invoke the Holy Spirit of God to descend in Museveni's heart and in his son's heart, so that they may be transformed like Jesus transformed St. Paul. When he was called Saul, he became Paul.
David Ijo, NTV.